Hello, this is Paul Robinson with ISP Educational Solutions, and this is a story of the ISP Database. I'm going to be giving you a short history of our company and of our international education database. Now, our company was incorporated in British Columbia in 1993 with the name Robinson & Robinson, Inc. And what we did at that time is we developed and supported systems for the forestry industry in British Columbia. Macmillan Bloedel, as you can see here, was one of the largest forestry companies in this province, and they had warehouses all across North America, and they needed to manage the warehouse operations. And so we were engaged to build a system to support all their warehouses all across North America. Well, after that, we got involved with Plastodome and Barrick Gold. Plastodome had its headquarters in Vancouver, a big mining company with operations in South America, Australia, all across the world, actually. And they needed support for their HR systems, and they needed a database to do it, and that's what we're engaged to do. After that, starting in about 1995, we worked with hospitals and clinics. For example, Vancouver General Hospital had some clinics where they had to schedule patients being brought in and to have caregivers being available when those patients were brought in. Similarly, at UBC Hospital on the campus of University of British Columbia, there were a number of clinics, sleep disorders clinic, Alzheimer's clinic, multiple sclerosis clinic, that needed to have scheduling systems. And those scheduling systems involved having multiple healthcare providers be available at the same time that a patient is going to be brought in. And so they relied on a database system for scheduling all those appointments. But the big turning point for us happened in 1997, when in a class in which I was teaching database technology, someone from West Vancouver School District International Student Program was in the class to learn about databases. And at the conclusion of the class, she asked, could I come to her school or to the school district and help her create a database for managing the international student program. Well, that was a major turning point for us, because from that first early start, the database expanded across BC, and year after year, sometimes month after month, the number of school districts in the province of British Columbia continued to grow. And much of this growth happened, in my opinion, because of word-of-mouth references. That is, one client telling the other how valuable the database was to them. And so we did a tally somewhere about the summer of 2013, and at that point, there were no fewer than 24 school districts just in BC alone using the ISP database. Well, that spurred us to do more, and so we expanded across Canada. We expanded into other school districts. For example, there was a point in which in the province of Nova Scotia, where there are 7 school boards, all 7 school boards were using the ISP database for running their international programs. If you look at this map, you can see what looks like little push pins, and wherever you see push pins, it means that there are clients of the ISP database. Well, one thing leads to the other. We did well with school districts, and word got out that community colleges also needed a database for managing their international programs as well. And this kind of happened because we attended conferences, for example, CBIE, which is one of the biggest conferences across Canada. And so you would get a cross-section of school districts and community colleges attending, some universities. And again, once we began to understand how the needs differed in the post-secondary level from they do at the K-12 level, we were able to build systems to satisfy the needs of community colleges and universities. Now, we also encountered number of schools that were ESL schools, that is, they specifically taught English to students who had come to Canada to learn English. In some cases, they came as a prerequisite for going on to post-secondary. In other cases, they simply wanted to learn English and go back to wherever their home countries. But this opened up things for us significantly because now we're dealing at 4 different levels, the K-12, community colleges, universities offer degrees, in some cases postdoctorate degrees, and as well ESL schools, which typically were private schools. And then along came Institutes of Technology, which also wanted to have a program for managing international students, religious schools, not so much emphasis on international there, but more on the tracking of discipline and of religious studies and so on. But the important point to note here is the diversity of clients that we had, that we were really covering a very broad cross-section of clients. And things got even better for us because we then were engaged by a number of universities to build systems to manage their study abroad and exchange programs. So that really gave us a good in-depth grounding in the fundamentals of international education. In some cases, the more advanced requirements, which we fortunately were able to satisfy. Now, our expansion, as you can see, was really across the board. As you look at, for example, the province of Alberta, you can see that there were, regular school boards, there were Catholic school boards, there was a college that became a university, and so on. But we also, as I mentioned, in Nova Scotia, we had not only school districts, but also private language schools as well. And again, in Manitoba, you can see universities, colleges, school divisions as well. And in Quebec, we had and still do have clients there. Saskatchewan, we have clients in the United States, more than one. We are showing one there, but there's actually additional clients since 2013. And we even have a client as far away in Perth, Australia. But the biggest concentration of our clients happens to be in the province of Ontario. And here's just a little tidbit. There are 24 public colleges in the province of Ontario. And at one point, 40% of those colleges used the ISP database. So we really came up close up to the needs of colleges, of universities, of school districts, and understood, for example, many issues dealing with homestay management and with agent management and commissions and the generation of letters of acceptance and understanding about medical insurance for international students. Well, what do we see as our strengths? Well, I think our in-depth knowledge of international education is one of the areas that I have heard from various clients as a reason why they have adopted our systems. We have tried our best to engage the best programmers and the best support staff that we could find. We really worked hard at giving the best in service, the best in training, and to give very responsive support to clients. Sometimes requests would come in for an urgent need, and that we were satisfied quite often the same day, or at worst, the following day. Or if it was something really major, Monday morning at 8 a.m. Well, a hallmark of our company is that we have focused on delivering custom tailored software. That is, we recognize that each client, even though they're a school district, they may have needs that vary from one province to the next. For example, in British Columbia, there's a need to be able to support MSP, the Medical Services Plan. That might not apply to other provinces, but we made sure to have that capability. We put a big emphasis on automation. Our motto was, use the ISP database to get more done in less time. We tried hard to interface with other systems, and those other systems could be systems from medical insurance providers so that it would minimize the amount of effort needed by the staff of an international student program and allow the software to do much of the laborious work of integrating and exchanging data with medical health insurance providers. But we also provided interfaces to software like Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word and Excel. We're able to use the database for telling you the distance from or the time to travel from a homestay family home to a school. Again, interfacing with Google Maps. We worked really hard to understand what clients needed in terms of their mission-critical queries and reports. And many of our clients have told us that that is mission-critical because that's how they get to measure how their program is running by having these queries and monthly reports. Over the years, we've sponsored international education conferences. We've tried our best to be good citizens of the international education community by attending these conferences, by interacting with people there, by listening to what the marketplace is telling us, and in return, putting up a product or products that satisfy those needs. Well, that's the story of the ISP Database. Please note that the ISP Database is now fully supported by ISP Educational Solutions, a Canadian company with its head office in Toronto, Ontario. If you wish more information or you wish to have a demonstration of our current products, please contact Laura Kane at the number shown here on your screen. Her email address and website are also shown. Thank you very much. Bye now.